United States submarine base at Key West, Florida. A dispatch that quoted President Truman's press secretary, Charles Ross, as saying that President Truman has no knowledge of any secret project by this government that would give substance to the existence of such objects. Ross also said that both the Air Force and the Navy deny that such objects exist.
Hello?
Hi.
Damn, this has been, you know what I will say? We, put together a little Patreon surprise for everyone for our 100th episode, and then the entirety of getting to this point of recording the actual 100th episode has been a disaster. Emotionally.
Yeah, Noelle's had a terrible day. I've had a regular day, but the emotional pressure of doing something really special for episode 100, with an asterisk because it's not actually our 100th episode because we've been recording for a long time. Well, because I just picked up where Freaky Geeks left off, and we maybe did 50 episodes on that. So,
Also, you're breathing into the mic, and it's my 15th reason. I was on 13th and 14th, and now that was my 15th.
I was so excited to not have these sorts of breathing problems anymore because I'm on COPD medicine, and I thought it would help me breathe better, but it's not, apparently. I'm just still huffing.
Yeah, man. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why, you are like a bulldog.
I was doing, I've done a couple of guest podcasts lately, and after the first one, Chris Hoffman from Velleity Studios was like, hey, I didn't want to say anything during the podcast, but you were breathing really loud. And I was like, next time say something. And I told him, I was like,
you guys just made the most insufferable hour and a half of material to be known to man.
Yeah. So I was like, dude, next time tell me you should hear the most vile, rancid ways that Noelle talks to me when I breathe into the microphone. And then next time I did another podcast with him a few weeks later. And he sent me a very polite text that was just like, I just wanted to let you know that you're breathing into the microphone with a little happy face. And
it's so fucking crazy. Sometimes you breathe so loud in the microphone, and this is going to be a deep cut. It reminds me of that old ass 2006 Dane Cook bit about your brother being the Burger King, and how anytime you go to a Burger King, the person on the mic is eating the microphone and you can barely understand what they're saying, and it's just that's you.
Yeah, that is a deep cut. And I used to be obsessed with somebody on the internet used to take Dane Cook's stand-up and put it to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Girl, what
his
the
voiceovers,
fuck?
And it was the funniest fucking thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Fuck. Also, first of all, I used to watch Linkin Park Dragon Ball Z montages on YouTube.
Okay.
But I would love to see that Dane Cook Avatar.
I'll find it.
It's
really good.
Because this is a deep cut. I'm also going to age myself. When that special came out, I went out and bought the CD. of the special, and we would be driving around in my mom's car listening to it.
Of the Dane Cook?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came in. He was a sensation, wasn't he?
Yeah. It sucks. I think his brother robbed him of everything and fucked him up by stealing all his money from him, fucking up his taxes and shit. Something crazy happened.
Yeah, and now he just dates suspiciously underage women. Yeah.
Yeah, girls. Now he just dates young girls. God, oh my, do you remember that fucking movie he was in that was so funny?
Waiting?
Waiting.
Yeah. It wasn't Waiting, that was Ryan Reynolds.
No, Dane Cook was in that too, I feel like.
Was he the line cook?
I think so. I could be
He was in the Superstore or whatever with Jessica Simpson. And then he was also in Good Luck Chuck or Bad Luck Chuck.
Did I just
Jessica
mix
Alba.
up Dane Cook and Ryan Reynolds?
That's fucking embarrassing. And I'm leaving that in.
No, honestly, that checks out because...
No, all right. I will say that you shamed Typhoid Taylor so hard when she thought you were Jessica Simpson when you were dressed up as Britney Spears, but you just mixed up Ryan Reynolds and Dane Cook.
Are you fucking kidding me? Because what she did was an actual tragedy. Miss Britney Spears, you're going to fuck up the iconic denim outfit of Miss Britney Spears for is
Listen,
tuna chicken of the sea, that is actually worth going to jail over.
Ryan Reynolds is the denim face of a generation, and you just disrespected his head.
Ryan Reynolds in Waiting was not Ryan Reynolds today, right now, and you need to come correct with that. And that's why they're both interchangeable, because like Ryan Reynolds in Waiting was fucking Green Lantern.
Dane Cook might have been in Waiting. Like, he might have been the line cook.
Maybe.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, you fucking whore.
He was the line cook.
I knew he was.
I said he was the line cook from the jump. What are you yelling at me for?
But actually, Ryan Reynolds in Waiting was even further back, because Green Lantern was in 2011. Waiting was in 2005. What the fuck was he doing in 2005? Being in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle?
I have no idea. I didn't follow. Like, I think Ryan Reynolds is fine, but I think my heartthrob from the early 2000s was Orlando Bloom from when he was in his Lord of the Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean era.
Yeah,
so
when
I focused on No Other Man.
Yeah, when he was in that Lord of the Rings type beat, that was special. But I will say, like, early 2000s, Ryan Reynolds came up, and this is a controversial opinion. I think the only reason why he was able to come up is because Dane Cook fell. He fell. He had a fall from grace, and there was a spot. There was a spot for that type of man, because like they really were basically interchangeable as far as looks and humor and sound. Like, they were the typecast of each other. Truly, think about it.
That's an opinion, Noelle. And I'm gonna let
it's not an opinion. It's actually facts.
No, you're allowed to have opinions, you know?
Like, literally, look at them. They're like almost the same man back then. You know?
So our 100th episode, yeah?
Hey, what's up? My name is Noelle, and I used to listen to comedy specials on CD.
And I'm Chelsea. I used to listen to comedy on Pandora. And I would just get little snippets of the CDs here and there. But that was the only way I knew how to consume it at work, with no one there around to catch me.
I also want you to know that the CD was called Harmful If Swallowed. And it is like going for a lot of money online.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. How much is it going for?
Well, like $50.
Yeah, that's so CDs don't hold their value, so it's always impressive when it was like when we were trying to find Grind, right?
Yeah.
Like, why is Grind the holy grail of
I fucking
shows?
dare anyone to go try and find a copy of Grind, because it's fucking impossible.
I got it after that night, but yes, I did pay for it. I don't remember how much, but I did have to pay money.
Yeah, a lot, kind of.
Yeah, it wasn't
even though there's currently a copy on eBay for $2.41.
Yeah, probably for some reason we were in the inflation of Grind, and it was very wild.
Yeah, it was a dark time. So anyway, our 100th episode is also a grind.
I mean, I had fun with it. It's something that I've wanted to talk about for a minute.
Yeah, I know that this has been heavy on your chest because we were in a meeting in which climbing Mount Everest was brought up, and you felt it necessary to be like, well, actually, the Mariana Trench. And I was like, okay.
I did neckbeard it. Well, they said that the most expansive distance to conquer on Earth is Everest. And I was like, it's technically the Mariana Trench. It just because of the depth, people don't think it's a climb, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, we are talking about the Mariana Trench today, and it took a lot for me to get this episode through because Noelle kept sabotaging it left and right. And by sabotage, I mean we almost didn't talk about it, and now we were, but I took it personally.
Oh, yeah, you should take it personally. Well, I mean, I guess we'll peer behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz. I was like, for our 100th episode, we should do something like spicy and saucy. Let's do like sex workers who were like undercover spies, and then I just made up a storyline in my head. And Chelsea was like, I've never heard about that. And I was like, yeah, because I just made it up. I don't even know if it exists, but I bet it does.
I'm of the opinion,
Hmm.
now that we edited what you just set out, that our next episode should actually be about Dalmatians.
I agree. 101 of them.
Yes.
Oh my God, because it'll be our 100.
Get it? That's a joke.
Oh my God, she got me.
We're just gonna review the movie. But for now, we're talking about the Mariana Trench. Damn it.
Let's go.
So here we go. The Philippine Sea is in the west. See, here's the part. So we have to show. All right, another peek behind the curtain. You're gonna see how I use the cursor to follow along.
Yeah,
the words
you're
so that I
doing
can read it.
one of those like sing-along song type
I'm like
beats from a Disney movie.
Like a little kid. It's hard though because after you stare at the computer all day,
I know.
So
it's like chitty chitty bang bang.
Just boop, 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 boop. Yeah. So the Philippine Sea is in the western part of the Pacific Ocean and also contains the deepest trench known to man.
Oh, I thought that was you.
No, it's Bear running upstairs.
No, the deepest trench known to man.
Sitting about 211 miles southeast of Guam, the Mariana Islands lend their namesake to the infamous Mariana Trench. Made up of many components and sections, the deepest part of this area is called the Challenger Deep and sits nearly 7 miles below the water's surface. Interestingly enough, we know that it is deep, but we don't really know why. As in, the Earth's crust sits upon tectonic plates, and somehow the perfect storm came together to cause these intersections to just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
What do you mean we don't know why it's deep? Isn't it the same reason why things are tall, but opposite?
Yeah, but just the magnitude of how long it is and how it is still been so perfectly preserved in the ocean, why it doesn't fill up. It's just almost like a natural anomaly. In the same way that we can appreciate the Grand Canyon forming as something of a geographical feat that we probably would never see again. So similar is the awesomeness of the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, it's just the same thing but inverted.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's not like that spectacular.
I think it's spectacular.
Okay, well,
here's some interesting facts about the Mariana Trench that will help conceptualize it. And these are from pickvisa.com. So, quote, 1. If Mount Everest were placed in the Mariana Trench at this point, its peak would still be underwater. All of us know about the 2 poles of the Earth. However, scientists call the Mariana Trench the 4th pole of the Earth. Thus, the north and south are the geographical poles, and Everest and the Mariana Trench are geomorphic poles.
What the fuck does that mean?
They're so big, they have their own magnetic pole.
So you have to get a special compass to be there?
Probably Admiral Byrd definitely would have to if he went to explore it. 3. It is easier to climb Mount Everest than it is to dive into the Mariana Trench. So far, only 3 people have dived into the deepest trench in the world. Also, number 4, the Mariana Trench is the largest marine reserve in the world. Researchers have discovered a giant amoeba about 10 centimeters in diameter. That's crazy, right? That's like that big.
Yeah, because I thought amoebas were supposed to be like microscopic.
Yeah, and they're huge down there. And there are new species as old as the dinosaurs that are observed in the Mariana Trench, but a lot of them have not been identified.
Yeah, because like some of the most fucked up little guys were found in the Mariana Trench, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was so, like, an amoeba is kind of boring, but an amoeba that's 10 centimeters long, could you imagine that? Imagine, like, a sperm being, like, 2 feet just swimming at you.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Like, if you look up, like, the different sea life that they've found specifically in the depths of the Mariana Trench, it is some of the most sci-fi, alien, like, you have what I guess is supposed to be a jellyfish, but it doesn't even look like a jellyfish. It looks like a see-through pill capsule, and it has, like, wrapped in pool noodles that are also see-through with, like, you could see it's one long gut in the middle of it, and then what looks like a third eye,
Yeah.
but like made of see-through pink and red. It looks trippy. It looks like something someone would draw on acid. It looks as alien as anything could be. Like if you didn't see this in the depths of the Mariana Trench, your brain could never even conceptualize the concept of it or its existence or it like how there's just nothing on Earth that looks like it that you could draw reference from.
Yeah, any picture of like an animal that has like bioluminescence on it, you would just think it was like an alien, like from a movie, you know?
Yeah. Well, like, because even in comparison to like some of the other bioluminescent sea life that has been like found around in just darker waters and like colder waters and shit like that, is still like stage one of sci-fi aliens in comparison to the shit that they find in the Mariana Trench.
Yeah. And lastly, although the Mariana is known as a trench, there are real mountains here. Scientists have discovered 4 mountain peaks, each with a height of more than 1.5 miles. That is massive. Like things that are miles long in the ocean. The Mariana Trench is so deep that they're just recently being discovered. That's
yeah,
how
it has
deep
its own like geographical map. Like you could make a topographical map of the trench alone.
Yeah. And then again from beamazed.com, quote, given its unique geographic features, the Mariana Trench presents several factors that make it hard for life to exist. For one, sunlight cannot reach these depths. The area is shrouded in complete darkness, making it difficult for all animals to traverse through. Secondly, there's no algae or plants to eat down there because there's no sunlight to feed them. Third, given its lack of sunlight, it's very cold down there with a temperature range of 4 degrees to negative 1 degrees Celsius. I should have converted that to Fahrenheit. And finally, the pressure in the Mariana Trench is at 8 metric tons per square inch, which is nearly 1,200 times more than the average atmospheric pressure at sea level.
Yeah, it's fucking demonic down there. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, what is it? The barrel eye fish from the Mariana Trench. It's, imagine like your regular run-of-the-mill clownfish looking guy, but his entire skull is see-through.
Is this the one with the eyes, like right on top of its head? Yeah.
No, it's so yeah, that guy right there. It looks like a mech, like it's just a regular fish body, and then completely see-through fucking dome piece. The one that you're thinking of that looks like the fucking Scream mask is oh my god, what is it called? It's like.
Dude, look at how cool that.
Oh my god, I know, isn't it crazy? So I just saw a video of this motherfucker on TikTok because they were doing like one of those. There was like a whale carcass at the bottom. The deep sea hatchet fish. The deep sea hatchet fish from the Mariana Trench looks like a screaming man's face who's being squished to death because it's narrow. Right there.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It looks like a screaming man's face who is being like crushed to death on each side. It is nightmare fuel.
One thing I will say is that the Mariana Trench is also home to the Dumbo octopus, which is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
The Dumbo octopus is the only pleasant thing about the Mariana Trench.
Literally, that's it. Look at that little guy.
Yeah, they are absolutely adorable. They are pure and they are right, but everything else is fucking demonic and straight from hell as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
The type of jellyfish I was talking about is not even a jellyfish at all. It's a type of sea cucumber, and it's called the pink see-through Fantasia.
I will say that one of my favorite fish live in the Mariana Trench, and that is the anglerfish. Yeah, that's weird. That looks like a butthole.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it look like a butthole from space?
Yeah, it does.
Crazy.
Like, I follow, I think it's Surprise Anuses on Instagram, and they just post pictures of things that look like buttholes.
Well, it's so interesting that you would be upset about receiving butthole pictures for a Secret Santa when you follow Surprise Anuses.
Yeah, but it shows pictures of like a bunt cake. You know what I mean? And it's like, ha ha ha, it does look like a butt. I don't want to see actual butt.
Well, that's because you're fake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fake like the anuses I follow.
Speaking of anuses, what else is happening in the Mariana Trench?
So perhaps one of the most interesting things about the Mariana Trench, and we have spoken about this before, is how little we know about it. In fact, we know more about our own moon and outer space than we do our own oceans. Because
that's my favorite fact.
Yeah. There's like, less than 5% of our oceans have been explored?
Yeah.
And it's because the abyss and depths are harder to explore than the vacuum of space. Just plain and simple. It's easier to go to space. So what do we know about the trench, despite it being so hard for us to observe it? Well, originally, we did not believe that life could even survive at the bottom of the trench, but all that changed actually in 2012 with none other than James Cameron. It took him and accompanying scientists nearly 4 hours to get to the bottom of the ocean and make their way back to the surface. And obviously they were proven wrong when they discovered life down there. We will skip down there, skip over the bacteria that they discovered because I just don't find that as interesting. But we're going to...
Well, the cool thing about the bacteria they discovered is that it just is an anomaly. That every single rule we had decided was a scientific fact of life, that these specific things have to exist in order for life to exist. Those little weird volcanic demon bacteria found at the bottom of the trench did the opposite of that.
Right, yeah. It's neat that they survived. It's not neat that they're bacteria. So we're going to go into a few more things that he discovered that maybe are a little bit more mysterious. So at one point during their descent, about halfway down to the bottom of the trench, they saw a white disc making its way through the water. While they were busy trying to determine just what sort of organism they were looking at, a loud, piercing shriek sound went off through the depths and was so loud that the equipment, including the cameras, momentarily malfunctioned. Once they got the cameras and equipment back up, the object had disappeared, and for some reason, the scientists chose to not officially comment on what they had seen. And this isn't the first unexplained or even most infamous noise to come out of the trench. In 2016, scientists were studying the trench when they heard a radically different sound come through on their equipment. And obviously, there are plenty of noises in the ocean that we could try to explain away. But this particular one stumbled scientists because of how metallic it sounded. And we're going to play that clip for you right now. Did you hear it? Isn't that crazy? We'll play it again. Oh God, I feel like I'm my dad on my computer. I'm trying to just do it.
Yeah, watching you struggle is really fun.
Here we go.
Metallic is a good way to describe this.
Biotwang, right? Very weird.
Biotwang.
Yeah. Should we play it one more time?
Yeah, do it.
One more time? Okay. Let me get to... Here we go. Okay. Crazy, right?
Yeah, the deep, ominous, that was not it. But it was like, scream, that part. That was my impression of it.
I wish I came up with biotwang, but I didn't. So, described as biotwang, scientists were quick to touch base with the government and quickly came back to identify the noises belonging to a whale. In fact, if you want to look up the mysterious Mariana Trench noise we were talking about now, you'll see a lot of different claims saying that this has been solved, it is no longer a mystery, and that scientists have 100% attributed this sound to the mink whale. Now, for comparison,
they're so fucking crazy for that because, like, when I lived in Hawaii, whale sounds, whale songs, they were so loud and clear that at any point on a beach, you could walk in, just literally walk into the water, not even be deep, and put your head under the water and you would hear the whale sounds, you would hear their songs, but it was not metallic twang. It was very much an animal noise. Even if you had never heard a whale song before, you would know that it was coming from an animal. Like that sounds like sci-fi sounds that play when like you have boarded a UFO.
Right. And just for comparison's sake, we're going to play the weird Mariana Trench biotwang sound, and then we're going to play the mink whale so that we can compare them. So here's that biotwang again. Okay, and now here is a mink whale. They literally sound nothing alike.
Yeah, that sounds like a heartbeat.
100%. That is a mink whale in comparison, and they're saying that they know for a fact that that biotwang is a mink whale.
They are so crazy for that. Also, you know what else is crazy for everything about the Mariana Trench? The fact that's a man who fucking made Terminator was the reason why we got to the bottom of it.
Yeah, because the Titanic, dude. He had the money to go and do all this crazy ass ocean exploration because of that Titanic money. Because he helped get the Titanic out too.
I know.
This is insane. Thanks, like, James Cameron.
I know. Thanks, James Cameron. But also, like, think of like the other movies James Cameron has had a part in. Specifically thinking of Solaris.
Or
thinking of Piranha, obviously.
I'm thinking of Spielberg, like the Encounters of the Third Kind or whatever.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, but like James Cameron has done some freaky shit too, like The Abyss.
I love The Abyss, dude. The Abyss made me fall in love with Ed Harris, and I'm never going to stop loving him. Not as much as Nicolas Cage, but you know what? They came together to do The Rock, and that's how I know God is real.
Yeah, I mean, it does make you have faith. Like the Abyss, James Cameron wrote it and directed it, and that is basically all about fucking demons in the ocean. And then, of course, he made Aliens. So, like, you know, the joke is purposeful disinformation, right?
Yeah.
That, like, the craziest shit about reality is already out there. It's just hidden in the subtext of some crazy fucking silly movie, sci-fi movie like The Abyss. But, like, how could a motherfucker like James Cameron, who is the only reason why we have any knowledge of the deepest crevasse in the world, and then he turns around and writes The Abyss in 1989, like that didn't come from somewhere that he was pulling inspiration from?
Oh, I would say that Stanley Kubrick crawled so James Cameron could run. When
You're
we're
so
talking
right about that.
Yeah, for disinformation, I 100% agree. I think that James Cameron is doing the heavy lifting when it comes to soft disclosure to the masses.
Yeah, no, literally though. Like, what does that little bitch know? Come on,
Everything.
like he also did Point Break.
Which is
he's telling us everything. If you
Point
look,
Break is my favorite movie, so
it's iconic. If you look close enough between Point Break, The Abyss, and Aliens, you know everything you need to know.
Yeah, I agree. Is Point Break, to quote Point Break, "This is your fucking wake up call." That's not how they say.
That was crazy.
Oh my god! Have you? Oh man, I love Point Break so much,
Dude,
so fucking much. It's like so iconic. Utah, get me two. Anyway, Back off, war child. I'm serious. God, it's so fucking good. All right. Anyway, lastly, we're gonna play a few seconds of audio just so you can hear also how loud the trench actually is. And this was really surprising to me. If I imagine the Mariana Trench going down there, I would imagine nothing. Right?
Are you kidding me? Did you not look at that ugly motherfucking fish's face who looks like a man
Just
dying? That
screaming?
bitch is gonna scream. That bitch is screaming.
Well, the thing that's interesting though is like a lot of the sounds in the ocean are too low for the human ear to hear, and that's even close to the surface, right? And that's where like a ton of life lives. So it's strange that when you go into the trench, you're hearing all of this noise that science can't 100% explain, from things making noise that they don't know, right? And this is crazy. You can listen to 12 hours of audio of the Mariana Trench. It's just as ambient noise.
Yeah, let's fall asleep to this. This is our whale sounds.
This is it. Isn't that fun? Like, here's another spot where... I know it's not necessarily like 100% compelling, but what's interesting is that this isn't just the sound of water, right? This is sound that scientists aren't 100% sure what it's coming from. This could just be like the groan of Cthulhu, for all we know.
This is what it sounds like when I go to bed and I put my head on my pillow and I can like hear my heartbeat on the pillow.
Yeah.
It also kind of sounds like that.
Soothing.
I don't know if I'd say soothing.
Really? This makes me feel something.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you're hitting altitude in a plane.
Ew, I don't like that. Don't say that. Now you ruined it for me.
Well, that's just what it is.
Well, both are the closest aspects to hell that we're aware of, so I guess it makes sense.
No one is as afraid of airplanes as you are, so that reference didn't hit.
So what makes these noises? So I am sure that we have at one point or another, and I say we, as in people on the internet, have stumbled across mysterious ocean noises, such as bloop or Julia. And just like anything else we don't understand in the modern world, science's subsequent lacking explanations follow to try to dismiss these noises. So for example, bloop and Julia have been attributed to cracking iceberg sounds. And as previously mentioned, the biotwang supposedly belongs to minke whales, which they don't. We 100% disagree with that. But let's look at some of the fossil records of things that we've discovered in the ocean and the Mariana Trench. So something to... I lost my place there for a minute. Did you see?
Yeah, I watched your mouse bob around and you couldn't fucking reading rainbow your way out of it.
Yeah. So something to really consider when looking into the trench is the fact that we don't know what's down there, but we do stumble across evidence from time to time. So one such animal that is supposedly extinct is the Liopleurodon. Look at how complicated that word is.
You did such a good job sounding that out.
I also wrote it phonetically.
Yeah, I know.
Right
I wasn't going to spoil it,
you
but
can
then you
expose
did.
me. It's every time I mention it, there's the phonetic spelling right behind it. So, and the Liopleurodon is basically if Nessie and a T-Rex had a little water baby. So it's like the elongated head of a T-Rex with a longer pointed mouth, and then the stout body of a chonky Nessie.
Yeah, that's a really kind description for like the ugliest alligator shark you've ever seen.
That's also a good way. I don't know if it's a Liopleurodon in like Jurassic World where the assistant or the dinosaur comes up out of like the Free Willy pool and eats that lady. But
it kind of does look like that. It kind of does. I think it might be that. I thought that was supposed to be a megalodon though.
No, definitely not. It was definitely a dinosaur. But
yeah, a megalodon is a dinosaur.
But it wasn't a shark. We don't call sharks dinosaurs. And no, it was definitely... I tried to look up, though. I tried to find if the dinosaur that ate the assistant in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World or whatever was a Liopleurodon, but I didn't see any of it. But apparently there's like a video game that it is in, but I don't... Yo no comprendo.
The monosaur.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, the monosaur lived in a 3 million gallon pool of water located near Main Street, known as the Jurassic World Lagoon, and visitors would watch it feed on sharks in the Monosaurus feeding show.
That's crazy. That's also kind of shitty, right? I don't agree with the treatment of animals in that movie, and I think it's about time we go on the record for it.
Yeah, the monosaur is what was that fucking killer whale that ate the trainer? Killiam?
I don't know.
You remember that guy? He had the name that sounded like he was going to eat a trainer, and they put him in a fucking pool. Same thing.
I love when the animals fight back. I never watched Blackfish or whatever because I knew it would make me sad, but I already knew that. I already know it's shit, man. I don't have to eat shit to know it's shit, you know?
Yeah. You should watch it, though.
I can't. I think it would break my heart too bad.
It definitely would, but I do love when animals fight back. I love seeing when the bullfighters get gored by... I'm just like, ooh, yeah, baby. Show me more.
I know that I've had professional situations where people have sent me hentai, and I was disgusted, but if it had been hentai of men dying in, the bullfights, I would have kept that. I would have kept that porn.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anyway, so the Liopleurodon was roughly 20 feet long and were some of the apex predators of the Jurassic era. By studying the fossil record, it appears that its features were suited to live in the depths of the Mariana Trench. Specifically, the location of its eyes and nose point to this fact. The setup of the Liopleurodon's nostrils indicate that they would smell its prey as its primary hunting source, and its eyes being above its head indicate that it ambushed its food from below. In both cases are contingent with how modern Mariana Trench predators operate. And since light does not penetrate the depths of the trench, it is believed that the Liopleurodon adapted to kill creatures who used bioluminescence to navigate the pitch-black waters of the ocean floor. So essentially it would just hang out, its nose and its eyes were on top of its head, and it would just wait, smell, and occasionally like a light-up fish would come by, and it would just get it from below.
That sounds like a really simple type of life.
Yeah. I think you should operate like that. The fact that you live on the top floor is really kind of goes against your very existence. Is like
I know.
Yeah.
Do you want to know something else about dinosaur animals in current day that I've been thinking about that this just made me remember?
I do want to know.
So have you seen like what a Jurassic pelican looked like? Like how they would like
No.
So they were giant monsters, and they would like where they originated from. They were like giant fucking monsters like that guy. No. I love that this visual no one can see. They would walk on land, and that guy with like the pointy head. You just went past it. Yeah, him. And they were like
in the third Jurassic Park movie. These guys.
Were they?
Yeah.
What's their name?
A pteranodon.
A pteranodon? So
pteranodon.
These motherfuckers are where pelicans came from. And they were as big as fucking buildings, and they walked on the claws that were at the tips of their wings, and they were scary monsters. And modern day pelicans, and this is a fucking girl made a TikTok on this, and it's haunted me ever since. And she was like, modern day pelicans are opportunistic carnivores. That's where you get those really funny pictures and videos of like a pelican trying to like eat a dog, and the dog's just looking at it like, bro, what? Like they'll just put their stupid, dumb, giant mouths around. Like there's that really famous picture of like the pelican trying to eat a capybara, and the capybara just looking at it. It's like got its mouth around the capybara's butt, and the capybara's just like, you're such a dumb fucking fool. Yeah, they're hilarious. The pictures of pelicans trying to eat like gigantic animals that are so much bigger than them is like a silly little joke. And then this fucking girl on TikTok was like, it's funny until you think the reason why they do this is because they remember where they came from. They remember that they used to be these massive Jurassic monsters that could tower over an animal like that and just eat it whole.
It's insane. The flashbacks to the lizard brain was what it's doing.
Literally, that like stupid dumb pelicans remember, like that part of their brain that would do like spatial analytics to be like, oh, actually don't eat that because it's way bigger than you. They just don't have that because they still think that they're fucking dinosaurs.
That's crazy, dude. We should go to Antelope Island and see if we can get pelicans to think we're food.
They probably would, honestly.
I would be honored.
I would fist fight a pelican for sure.
No, I wouldn't. I like pelicans a lot, so I would want it to accept me. But the thing with Antelope Island is it's disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Like the little brine shrimp and all the bugs that are there. It's nasty.
It smells like asshole. But anyway,
that's insane.
Dinosaurs are around us.
Yeah. What a fun fucking fact. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That's crazy to think about, the fact that part of their brain hasn't conceptualized that they're small.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, I love that for them. Everyone should keep that energy. That's real Short King energy.
It is. That is. When we say that Short King energy exists, we're talking about pelicans. So the Lyopleurodon theory isn't as popular when you look at an even bigger and more popular predator who existed and grew to a whopping 40 feet. That's double the size of this dinosaur. And we are, of course, talking about the megalodon.
I knew you were going to say this fucking slut.
I love it. So the difference between the megalodon and the Lyopleurodon is not only pronunciation, but it also comes down to sightings and likelihood of modern existence. Now, I'm not going to be a fucking fake ass bitch and say that the Lyopleurodon isn't living its best life at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, but we are going to explore the possibility of the megalodon doing that in a little more depth.
I have never for a single day, also great pun.
Thank you.
I have never for a single day thought that megalodons are extinct.
No, and anyone who thinks that is wrong.
Like straight up. They might not be as big in numbers, but like there was that dude who was tracking that great white shark.
Yeah, on TikTok.
Yeah.
He's still fucking tracking it. Like that guy still pops up on my feed.
Well, one of them like went missing and was like dragged to a depth where great whites are
we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
And this one isn't even TikTok, man, because it's happened more than once.
Keep going.
So, an interesting issue we tend to come across is our quick dismissal of modern dinosaurs, or the notion that there isn't anything else left in the world to be surprised by.
This is literally human ego and ignorance. Yeah. Like, how the fuck do you, like, bitch, how do you think we existed? We fought through some goddamn shit. You don't think these big ass motherfuckers are too?
Yeah, it's so there's confirmation bias, and then there's the opposite of confirmation bias, which is falsification bias, which is you actively look for evidence which disproves your point of view rather than confirm it. And I think that this happens way more often in the scientific community than the confirmation bias does, because the confirmation bias is just essentially, I'm only seeking out evidence that it's true. The falsification bias is, don't see it, then it must not exist.
There are motherfuckers out here today who don't believe that fucking dinosaurs exist, and they'll say it with their entire chest despite all the proof.
Yeah, and the fact that anyone would think that they know that something doesn't exist in the ocean with 100% certainty is insane as somebody saying that they know for 100% certainty that there isn't life in outer space. It's so fucking big. Statistically, there's got to be something.
Yeah, we've only, like you said, we've only explored 5% of our own ocean.
Yeah.
And you're going to say with your entire chest that, like, oh yeah, that guy's not there for sure. And it's like, how do you know?
Yeah, give me all your money with your entire chest, and then I'll be interested in what you have to say.
Yeah, then I might believe you.
So, and, you know, considering that we, the collective humanity, literally used to think that the platypus was a cryptid, let's dive in.
You're killing it now.
That's my last pun.
Thank you.
I was only clever enough to come up with two. So
two that were the same.
No, it was a little go into it with a little more depth, and the other one was diving in.
Okay.
So Something especially interesting to note is that the megamouth shark reaches 20 feet in length, which is the same as the Lyopleurodon, and that wasn't even discovered until 1976. And the reason is that it migrates vertically. So that fact means that it tends to hang out around a depth of 500 feet, which in the 70s made it virtually invisible to scientists who were looking for it. That's only 500 feet. The Mariana Trench is miles deep. That's like 30,000 feet deep.
Yeah.
And before that time, the megamouth shark was just a radical cryptid that was dismissed as folklore from tired sailors.
I love how smooth brains can be. Truly. I love it.
Yeah. And I don't know, just the fact, I didn't know that the megamouth shark was dismissed as a cryptid. I knew that the platypus was, but a fucking shark, and people, when sailors would be like, there's a big ass shark out here that opens its mouth real big. And they're like, no, you're crazy. You're just sailors.
Dude, well, I mean, that's what happens when you be fucking manatees and shit.
Yeah.
And thinking and calling them mermaids. No one's going to believe you. It's crying wolf, honestly. They did that to themselves. Also, the megamouth shark, stupid name for it, that's that big ass bitch, right? That's got the little fish that like hang around it. They swim with it.
You're thinking of the whale shark. The megamouth shark is pretty similar. It's that big ass one right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they look like they could be related.
Yeah. They are, when you see like a whale shark is a little bit more flat and a little bit more cute than the megamouth shark. Because the whale shark's mouth opens like more.
The whale shark is actually bigger than
the whale shark is bigger.
Shark. Yeah.
The whale shark does hang out a little bit closer to the surface than the megamouth shark does. So
weird.
Yeah. But used to be dismissed as a cryptid just because it hung out at 500 feet, which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
Because I don't think of 500 feet as like that deep considering ocean exploration.
I mean, yeah, but like what were we doing in the 70s besides like faking the moon landing or whatever?
Sure. So according to unexplored.com, there are plenty of reasons why the search for the modern megalodon is not in vain. Considering the millions of years that have passed since the Miocene and Pliocene eras, which are the geological timeframes that the Meg overlapped some 20 million years ago. So for 13 million years in those eras, this shark dominated the oceans, and considering that it only takes a few generations for an adaptation to become dominant in a gene pool, it does make sense that these sharks could have taken to habitats deeper in the ocean, eventually pushing it further and further down until it dominated the ocean floors. And the Mariana Trench isn't the only deep place in the ocean that it could have taken to. So for example, between the Baja Peninsula and Mexico is the Sea of Cortez. And this area is rich in sea life, and this section of the ocean is estimated to be about 10,000 feet deep. It has also served as home to some of the most significant sightings of megalodon sharks in modern history. Even more popular is the evidence we see when we study other ocean predators, specifically the great white shark. In 2004, Australian scientists tagged a series of great whites to track their movements and determine their swim patterns and narrow down other navigational traits. One of these sharks, similar to the TikTok one you brought up, one of these sharks had its little tracker wash up on shore roughly 4 months later, and only 2 miles away from where it had been originally tagged. And in a small twist of fate, the tracker that the scientists had tagged, the shark was still intact, but had some absolutely insane data on it. First, the tag showed a rapid increase in temperature before plummeting to a whopping 2,000 foot depth just off a continental shelf. The tag itself was covered in stomach acid, meaning that the temperature increase had been from the great white shark getting swallowed and had gone into the deep while in another predator's stomach.
Incredible.
The temperature of the animal that ate the great white was roughly 78.8 degrees, meaning that it could not have been a mammal, which cuts out any possibility that the shark was got by a whale. So, the only other explanation that the scientists could come up with was that the shark must have been cannibalized by another great white. despite the fact that no other great white shark on record has ever been big enough to swallow another adult great white shark whole. But science explains it away regardless.
See, this is the fucking bullshit, dude. Because, like, not only this little black box footage is, like, crazy, but also there have been great whites photographed with bite marks on them bigger than any recorded bite mark of a great white.
Carcasses of whales that wash up where, like, they're bitten in half.
Yeah.
And they're just absolutely dismissed.
They're like, it must have just been a great white. And you're like, since fucking when, dude?
Yeah. And speaking of disinformation, if you try to look up whales being attacked by megalodons, the first thing that is going to pop up is going to be a mockumentary of a guy and his son zooming in on a whale that has its tail bit clean off. That is false. That was put together as a mockumentary. It's similar to some of the mermaids or siren documentaries that you see out there. Purposeful misinformation. It is put together on the History or Discovery Channel. Is something that's supposed to be quote unquote fun, but it's definitely if you see that, it's fake. It's not real.
Yeah, like the fact that like the statement is like, if megalodons still existed, we would know. And it's like, would you? Would you? No. You guys don't know shit about dick. You guys can't even prescribe correct medication to humans you've been studying forever. You think you would know if a megalodon was in the fucking ocean, you dipshits?
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with you, especially because just this week, one of the medicines that I've been on for years just got black boxed, and they don't give it to me anymore.
See? This is what I'm fucking saying.
Yeah, they're like, whoops, people kept killing themselves on it. And I was like, all right. And that was for asthma.
Yeah, and these are our brightest minds.
Our brightest minds, in theory, with an asterisk.
Yeah.
Can't find a fucking shark in the ocean, though. So
they couldn't find their ass if it was attached to their face.
Nope. They'd probably pop up on the surprise anuses of Instagram feed and not even know they were looking at themselves. So in another test, this one was specifically at the Mariana Trench in 2004. A research team was collecting data by lowering a recording apparatus into the water. Similar to what James Cameron did, it collected video footage, recorded sounds, pressure, temperature, etc., and it basically served as a way to record the senses that one would experience the deeper they got into the trench. At various depths close to 19,000 feet deep, scientists were seeing creatures on screen that they estimated to be around 30 feet long. And while they couldn't exactly tell what they were looking at, they were ecstatic that they were seeing anything at all. Until, suddenly, the recording apparatus was attacked and badly damaged. Regardless, the probe was able to record audio for several hours before it was finally recovered by the team. And the only evidence they were able to preserve was something that they could only describe as, yet again, another biotwang. So, alien site anomalien.com attributes the cause of this damage to 3 different theories. So we're going to loosely quote it. I changed the order up a little bit. So first, the Mariana Trench, of course, is inhabited by various forms of life. They, living in extreme conditions, could acquire the most powerful shell flaps or claws that can damage the skin of even such a durable apparatus. I think that's fine. It's just a saying that, yeah, there's crazy shit down there that's strong as hell, and it would make light work of any man-made thing we drop down in there.
Yeah.
2, the devices were attacked by a large unknown creature, perhaps a megalodon or similar representative of the fauna. I agree. Big ass shark. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be the megalodon for me.
Yeah.
Lastly, this one's fun. Conspiracy theorists believe that in this case, there was a manifestation of intelligent beings, probably representatives of an underwater civilization. Precise instrumentation damage and a growing mechanized rumble suggest that this could not have been a chaotic attack by a large squid or other megafauna.
Okay. So,
this is
like
the
Atlantis
abyss theory. Yeah, the abyss theory. The aliens are on Earth, but they live at the bottom of the ocean. I think that's
I like that one. I like the way you presented it. Made it seem like the Atlanteans are beating up our recording devices.
It could be Atlanteans.
No.
It could be Abyssians.
No.
It could be Namor from
Aquaman?
Wakanda Forever, which was great. That was They did so fucking good with Namor in that movie.
I will say, I love the idea that aliens are in the ocean. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I genuinely enjoy aliens in the ocean.
Yeah, that's why the Navy is the one who records most cases of UFOs.
Yeah, all these bitches been seeing fucking that UFO dive bomb into the ocean that Navyman was recording on deck. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on. How can you beat that?
You can't. And I love this. I also believe in this theory. I believe that there is intelligent life at the bottom of the ocean. Why not? It makes sense. Prove me wrong. But in this case, I want it to be the megalodon. So I'm going to say a fucking megalodon is 100% in the depths of the ocean, still existing to this day.
Well, I mean, I guess that's why I like the alien one better, but like unrelated. I guess like that's my caveat, is that like I want to believe that aliens are in the ocean unrelated to what we just covered. What we just covered is just proof to me that megalodons exist still and probably are chilling in the Mariana Trench, but I felt that way for a while.
Yeah. I also don't think it's that insane that animals that are that massive don't necessarily need to feed as often. So why couldn't it be like a giant anaconda where it eats and then it's just set for a while? So like I think that whatever's
and
down
giant
there,
anacondas are real.
They are 100% real. So like these sharks that live at the bottom of the trench could expend all of their energy consuming a fucking whale or other great white sharks, especially if they're swallowing them whole and then going right back down to the bottom of the ocean to digest it.
Yeah.
I mean, that case of the shark being swallowed whole and going down, there are recent cases of that. I tried to find the TikTok one because I follow that guy too. That happened as recently as last year.
Yeah.
This Australian case was, a few years ago, but there's multiple instances of sharks being swallowed and taken down to the depths.
Yeah, down in areas where they would not and cannot go because their bodies cannot survive it.
Yeah. So very interesting.
Yeah, fucking man. I've been knowing that the megalodon is still fucking out there. Also, like, think about, like, surviving these, like, cataclysmic events that the Earth has gone through over the last, like, fucking 100,000 million years, whatever you want to put it as. Yeah. Being in the deepest, darkest depth of the ocean is going to be, like, the best place to be.
I agree, especially like as other predators come along, why wouldn't they go deeper? What would kill, like, not every apex predator is going to be killed off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, we still have alligators and they're remnants of the era of the dinosaurs, and we have birds and everything. They just like evolved up.
Like, alligators are now like little pussy boys who hang out in fucking lakes and shit. And like birds are little pussy boys who hang out on like the top of light posts and shit. But like they just chose the pussy boy path of evolution. Mm-hmm. If you're a megalodon and you are the apex predator of the ocean, why are you just not evolving like more, which is just down? Like, you're not trying to like adapt to live comfortably amongst the motherfuckers on a lagoon shore. You're just gonna go deeper and darker and bigger and badder. Like, that's just like a megalodon going pussy boy and like becoming like a tiny little great white shark is like not real for me. I'm like, no, that bitch is getting meaner and nastier, is going deeper into the ocean, surviving on less. If anything, they look even scarier because like they've probably adapted to like that pitch black bullshit. So they look like straight up fucking demons. Like that's what makes the most sense for me. And like going deeper and darker into the depths of the ocean, like you're surviving it all. Like any sort of like temperature fluctuation is not going to affect you if you're already in like that Arctic fucking deep ass water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like with the Little Mermaid, how that artist did what she would look like if she was at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and she just looks like way fucking cooler.
Yeah, like a translucent anglerfish demon girl.
I love it. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, I know. I 100% agree with you. I think that the ignorance of which we dismiss literally anything is appalling, and I'm fucking sick of it. And we talk about it all the time. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a reason why we are holding on, and we, as the collective we, are holding on to the idea, or we're buying into these sightings of megalodon sharks because there are so many whispers about it. It's the same reason why I buy into Bigfoot, man. So many people are seeing it. So many people are buying into it. The fact that we don't have concrete evidence, quote unquote, you know what I mean? In my opinion, we have evidence.
Yeah.
But people are so quick to dismiss any evidence you have, because the second you try to look up what is the mysterious sound from the Mariana Trench, they're saying it's a fucking minke whale.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, what did I send you last night? I don't know if you saw it, about the girl who was like, why would the government be researching Bigfoot for the last 45 years if they thought that it wasn't real?
Exactly.
Like, why would you expend that much time and energy and money into researching something that you're just like, it's not real? Like, then what was the last almost 50 years of researching it for?
I agree. Yeah. Why would
I feel that same way about this?
Even look at, we did the episode on the guys who mind traveled to Jupiter, and everyone's like, that sounds fucking fake. And I'm like, you can think it's fake, but we got it from the CIA.
Yeah, the CIA literally tried it. Yeah, it's just, they just leave too many breadcrumbs around, and then they just put, the screaming guy online to be like, I saw a megalodon in Lake Michigan, and then everyone's like, yeah, fucking right, dude. And
yeah,
then, like, that's it. But, like, in reality, these great white sharks that, like, shark enthusiasts are tracking get fucking killed in one goddamn bite and dragged to the depths of the ocean that they've never been to before. And everyone's just like, guys yelling at clouds again.
Yep. Yeah, it's, I'm over it. We are officially saying that, yes, the megalodon is real, and it still is among us to this day.
That is the official stance of the podcast, for sure.
And the reason why we don't see it is because it doesn't need to come to the surface.
It doesn't need that. It doesn't need us. So. Yeah, nothing has ever made more sense. Speaking of things that have never made more sense, you can go to the link tree in any of our bios. I am at Noelle Fain. That is at Sithlard. We are at Go to Hell Podcast. And I hate this sound so much.
I love it. I wanted to play us out.
God, you're so gross. You're going to hate this sound when you take off in a plane, and if you have the window.
Yeah, I'm good because I'm in a fucking plane.
This.
But if I'm at the bottom of the ocean, listen how beautiful that is.
It's not beautiful. But anyway, what is beautiful is going into that link tree in our bios, and you can get to our Patreon, which is $1. New episodes every week. We have a really fun 100th episode on Patreon for you guys. It's a lot of fun. You can also find links to our merch. We're using a different merch platform for better quality shit, so check that out. And you can also get a link to Kelly Holloran or at Wildwood Owls Etsy. And she's got the Furby renditions of us, which are truly the most iconic renditions of us I've ever seen. They are so fucking adorable, absolutely insane, also just spot on. And also in there you can find links to our Discord server, our Facebook group, where to follow us, and where to listen to us, but I don't know why you would need that. Today has been tough. Today has been tough for me emotionally and physically. But besides knowing for certain that the megalodon is real, the other thing that has gotten me through the day, which will always get me through every day, is my number one they, them, king, queen of the universe. And they're going to get a Hail Satan.
And hail Jason Statham for bringing the Meg to life with his blockbuster cinematic masterpiece, also known as The Meg.
Yeah, I think it has like a .2
Doesn't matter. 100% in my heart.
Actually, let's go ahead and give a hail to James Cameron, who is the Stanley Kubrick of the seas.
Yeah, thanks, James Cameron. Hit me up. I know you got my number.
Okay, let's get the fuck out of here.
Bye.
Bye.